Yo, what up, y'all? This is Keith. I just had to put this on a video real quick. I was rushing through my mind because I wanted to make a video, to give a little bit motivation into my youth out there. But one thing I've thought about was, why am I making these videos? And the reason I have to make these videos is because not only they are lacking the motivation, but the reason why some of them are lacking the motivation that they lack is because of the parenting that they received when they were younger. See, I did a little bit of research before I came and made this video, and I found out 686,000 children are victims of child neglection. 80% of them is physically, 9% of them is sexually, and 8.5 is psychologically, and that leaves the rest of the 78.3% to just be neglected any other way, medically, you name it, educational, all that, you know. And, this is a big problem because, us as parents, or your parents, you know, they needed to focus on you so you could have that support. But they couldn't take the time and think about you because of what's going on in their personal life. And see, at the moment, they felt like what was going on in their personal life was more important than anything because their emotions were attached to that. See, their emotions should have been attached to you instead of attached to that man or that woman or, their self appearance or whatever the case may be. Sometimes their emotions attached to alcohol or drugs because of their present situation, or whoever's influencing them at the moment. See, but they fail to realize that when when they neglected you at that moment, there was going to be a lot of issues going on with you in your future life. That wasn't part of their plan, but it's happened. And now, you're trying to grow up, you're trying to mature, you're trying to do what you're trying to do in life, but you're having these issues and you keep running into these obstacles and you don't know what to blame. You don't know if it's you, if it's just the way you are, or, was it your past? You don't know why you're like this, but it's all in your subconscious mind. So, a lot of things like, people like us that come from broken homes, when I say broken homes, I'm meaning family with, a parent, but the other parent isn't there. As in, you got your mom, but you don't have your dad. You have your dad, but you don't have your mom. Or your mom and dad is fighting, they're using drugs, and you're getting neglected. Or your siblings are going to CPS. All type of things like that. This a typical dysfunctional family. That's what's going on through my head. And so, that child who's going through that, yes, in the future you will be independent. That's no doubt. You will be an independent person because you're basically taking on responsibilities that a grown man or woman should be taking, but you're taking them on yourself. See, but while we're growing up, we're doing things like lying for no reason. We lie because we want to feel, praised. And one way to feel praised is about lie about something, or another reason we lie is to get out of trouble. So we get used to sticking to that method, and random people we meet, we just lie when we talk, or whenever we're confronted at work, we lie, when something is really small and minor and can be easily fixed, instead of accepting the criticism that we need to accept at the moment. You know what I mean? It could have been a situation that could have bettered us, but we lied and act like we knew what we were doing, and so we didn't really gain anything from that. And those lies stick with you because later on in the day, you know that you lied, that you had a chance to be honest, but you didn't. So, that hits home. You know, another thing, about not being there for your child, they're lacking the education that they need. Like if they see you working on, if your child sees you working on something and is for somebody whose parents are together, or who's being paying attention to and not being neglected. If your child sees you working on something, he asks questions, and then you teach that child how to do it, and then you let this person know, um, example, why you would carry the one over, before you finish the whole math problem. The simple stuff like that, we're missing. My problem is, I when I go to work, I'm doing A and B, but I skip all the way to P, go to Q to get to Z. So that's my issue because when I was younger, I wasn't taught properly how to, handle my equations. So that's what I'm dealt with, and I have to learn. I have to self-identify these, and the faster I self-identify these issues, the more I could fix them and I work on them. It's not something that's going to happen, one day, but it will happen. Another thing, um, that child will not be able to vent his or her feelings well. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, so we learn how to vent our feelings from the parents. We see how you guys talk to each other. You know what I mean? So if we see a parent, you know, speaking, and we only have one parent, that person is already hurt emotionally, messed up. So when that person vents, they're usually venting out of anger or frustration. So that's all we know how to vent is from anger or frustration. We can't just calm down and just talk to our spouse, normally, like, yeah, I was having a bad day, or the first thing that comes to our eyes, like mine, is like, don't worry about me because we're hypersensitive. You know what I mean? Because you didn't grow up with that foundation, so you're hypersensitive now. So that's another thing. Um, what else? I got trauma include protecting myself, and then, oh yeah, another thing. Yeah, since you're hypersensitive, you always want to protect yourself. So you know you're always on the defensive side because me, I was the only child as well. So having no brothers and sisters and having one parent, I always had to protect myself. So yeah, I grew a shell over my heart, and now I'm always on the defensive side, and that's just what it is. And sometimes I have to self-identify that maybe I'm taking things too seriously, but it's all psychological. So yeah, enough about me. But the reason why I really want to make this video is I want to make sure that parents out there are are really taking care of their kids, are really paying attention and not neglecting them, because you don't know how much worse you're making that child life. That child life is going to be really hard. He's going to run into obstacles. He's not going to know how to handle it. He's going to run into emotional. He's always going to break it down. He's not going to know how to get over anything. So, if you're a parent, you need to redirect what you're doing. If you figure out that you're lacking in anything, redirect what you're doing. Self-identify your issues. And sit down, talk to your kid, make sure your kid has what he or she needs, on the daily basis, because that that your son or daughter is another person, and they live a life like you. They have even at a age of 5 or 6, they have things running their mind as well, just like you do. It may not be bills and everything, but it's stuff going on in their head. I could guarantee you that. So yeah, I'm Keith Turley again. You can hit me up Facebook, my webpage www.keithdturley.com. I'll be sending out more videos. I at least try to do it once a week. Again, I appreciate y'all listening, tuning in. I hope this video is informational. If it is, please share it. Get the word out there so we can help the problem that's happening to the youth stop at its origin. All right, thank you guys.